Hello and welcome to Batcast 66. It's the podcast where we watch an episode of the 60s Batman show every week and then talk about it. Or every other week, excuse me. Today we're talking about Batman Season 2, Episode 6, Barbecued Batman. As always, I'm Kendall.
And I'm Scott.
This is the title alone is a weird one, right?
Yeah, I forget what the first one was offhand, the first title. But usually they're like a rhyming couplet. But I remember this one, like, yeah, the Minstrel Shakedown and then Barbecued Batman. Like, that's not even a slant rhyme.
Yeah, I mean there have definitely been some stretches, but
Oh yeah, they haven't all been like winners,
but yeah, this they didn't even try, which
yeah.
like yeah, maybe they're just giving up. 'Cause looking ahead, there does seem to be another one coming soon that just doesn't even try.
I've looked ahead just in general to help plan out some of the stuff we want to do, but I didn't pay that like kind of attention.
Yeah, I mean I was just looking ahead right now. Well, before we really get started, I want to ask listeners to forgive my voice. Much like Scott a couple weeks back, I now have COVID.
I think you sound all right to me.
Good. Should we just jump right into it? Anything else before the episode starts we want to talk about?
I guess let's just get this over with. But just like, subscribe, tell your friends about Batcast, blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do that if you want. That'll
Yeah,
be fun.
that's gonna be more interesting than this episode was, I think.
I feel like I like this one better than the last episode.
Really, I like the last one way more than this one.
Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe just because it was over is why I like this one more.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, I think I know why. We'll save it for the end. Let's go through this one. Maybe you'll sway my mind, but
I mean, we'll see. As we last left the dynamic duo, they're being roasted like a pig on a spit while the minstrel just watches. And I thought this was interesting because, like, usually the bad guy will put them in a death trap and then leave. But this guy is a little bit smarter than that. He just like wants to watch these two people get cooked to death.
yeah, yeah. I
Pretty
think
sick.
we talked about it last week. Like, again, this is the second time in a row where the end of episode cliffhanger is like Batman and Robin being like cooked by a villain who's not like necessarily like cooking themed, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, what a we like. Why does he even have that? Oh, you know what? I guess a spit's relatively medieval because like his like lair is like a living room with like stables and like other like Ren Fair stuff.
Yeah, it really makes it seem like he just like was like a criminal with like a good plan, and then he's just like, oh, in this town you just need a gimmick, and he just like happened upon this place. Because yeah,
Yeah,
him being a minstrel only like slightly plays into his plan in this
yeah.
episode, and I
Because
feel
like
like
even
it didn't at all last episode.
well, they tried to explain it last episode where like for some reason like music and electronics like operate on like wavelengths and stuff, and it's just like I didn't really buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
that's
least
a
at
load of
least he does
bullshit.
more Sonic related things in this. But he
Yes,
doesn't even have to be a minstrel. He could also have been like, I'm a jazz trumpeter or something, you know?
a jazz trumpeter
At least Archer was like had some Robin Hood elements to like his plans and stuff. Until he didn't and became a
until
pirate
he
again.
didn't,
But
until he just like gave up.
yeah.
Good thing Batman had planted some bombs earlier,
Yeah, I remember he was doing that last episode. He just was like throwing things in the hallway before they went through that door.
which like, wow, really thinking ahead.
So I know in the Catwoman episode, I really liked how they set up the thing that lets them get out of the trap in this, but like that felt kind of organic. This was just kind of like there's no way he would have known when he did that, like what was gonna happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems, and like
Like this,
what if like that janitor lady was
yeah.
there?
This felt like as much of an ass pull as it usually as like the worst ones usually are. Like
Yeah,
springs
but
and boots and stuff.
this one wasn't even like clever or
Yeah.
silly like that.
Yeah. Just like, oh, they made a distraction, then they just kind of like broke the thing that they were on and got out.
Yes. So yeah, these bombs go off and the minstrel and his goons go running off. They're like, "Oh, what the heck happened here?" And yeah, Batman and Robin like break their they like knock the spit off of like the contraption that's holding it and manage to get free. And yeah, we get maybe the earliest fight scene ever.
Yeah, it's like almost immediately like they come back, they're like realize there was a distraction, and then Batman and Robin just start clobbering everybody, and it's a non-onomatopoeia fight.
Yeah, and they kind of just beat the crap out of the what are their names? Base in Trouble
Yeah.
and Octavia.
Yeah. Yeah, Bass and Trouble are the two guys, and they have a bass and a treble on their shirt, and Octavia, like octave, is the mall.
So yeah, they win the fight. The minstrel gets away. And like ah, it's just so weird here. Like they're like, "Oh man, the minstrel got away." But at least Robin's like, "Oh, at least we got the goons or something like that." And Batman's like, "Oh no, they're getting away." But they're like still there, just like walking up the stairs, and Batman's like, "Oh, don't bother."
Yeah, we don't need the riffraff. Like they're still criminals.
Yeah.
Like that felt really out of character. It's not like they were part of a bigger plan, which does sort of happen, but not those two.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, they're helping the big fish. Like, don't you think you should just like bring them in so you don't have to fight them again?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, they
really
usually
wish there
bring in the
was,
henchmen in past episodes.
yeah,
Like we've seen them do that.
I just want a little bit of a better explanation.
Yeah.
Um,
And none.
but yeah, Octavia goes to turn herself in.
Hmm. Because Batman's so charming and everything. And I hated this scene.
Yeah. And Batman's just like, oh, well, you seem to have learned your lesson,
Yeah,
so
you're an innocent girl. Here's your purse and stuff. But like it goes on forever. And it's like I know I've been on the record many times in this podcast, like the henchwoman becoming in love with Batman is like my least favorite trope in a very trope heavy series. And
yeah,
it's just it would be one thing if it wasn't like every fucking episode. Like it's almost every single one. It's like the only ones that's not, it's like the Catwoman ones. And like I, so it was going on and on and on, and he just lets her go. And I'm like, I this is leaving a really it started off a really bad place for me then. Between those two moments that just happened.
yeah, God, it's pretty bad. So yeah, we learn here that Batman is essentially manipulating this girl
Yeah.
into like leading him to the minstrel. Because yeah, because they still don't know where he's like broadcasting from. Because if you remember from last episode, he's like broadcasts his demands over the television.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes to the broadcasting station and like tries to convince the minstrel to turn himself in. And the minstrel's the one who's like, "Oh, Batman just let you go," and then like dumps out her purse and is like, "You're being like
Yeah,
tracked."
yeah, I actually really appreciate because he's supposed to be this electronics genius that like has Batman like he's one step ahead of Batman at every turn. I was like, okay, at least he did that. And I was like, at least Batman like had a reason to let her go, but he had no reason to let Base and Trouble go. And the
Yeah,
funny thing is like if they just didn't show them sneak off and Batman and Robin like specifically not get them, I would have just like, oh, they escaped. Like
yeah,
off
me
camera.
too. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this one does suck more than last week's. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll
It's
talk about it more as we go.
um so yeah, Octavia, I do appreciate that she's upset about being
Yeah,
used.
she's like, Batman played me, or whatever she said.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, after this, we cut to police headquarters. And this is another scene I didn't really care for.
Yeah, and it also goes on for a really long time. I
Yeah,
just wrote in my notes that the scene that Batman's a menace.
yeah. So Chief O'Hara is just like, we haven't heard anything from Batman, and then just immediately jumps to like
He,
Batman and the Minstrel must be in cahoots with each other.
yeah, I was getting like seeds of Harvey Bullock here, splash J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah,
I was just like, why would you jump to this conclusion?
like he's worked with Batman like literally side by side in some cases for years, for at least a year, like a season's worth of television. And it's not like the Minstrel's been like kind of like they were doing like the Penguin thing where like they're kind of framing him for like crime stuff, like something to turn opinion against Batman. But like it just
Yeah,
was weird. And but like Gordon's like going on about like what paragons of virtue they are and how like they're the only thing that like saves Gotham City and stuff. I'm like, you guys are the cops. You should have a little
well,
more agency than just call Batman.
and O'Hara does say like, oh yeah, like my police force that I'm the chief of, like
Yeah,
they're right beside Batman and Robin.
yeah,
And like they're not, but I appreciate him like kind of interjecting that. But
yeah,
just so weird that he's just like, especially after all that stuff where the Penguins framing them and
yeah,
they're just like, oh yeah, these guys, they're up to no good.
yeah.
But yeah, they to reassure both O'Hara and the viewers wavering faith in the dynamic duo, they just call with an update.
Yeah, Batman is like, hey, we haven't talked to you in a minute because we had nothing like concrete to report or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Which, I guess makes sense.
yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I really didn't like that scene. How out of character for
Yeah.
O'Hara. So, you know, remind me at the end of the episode. I want to see like if this writer, because I feel like this writer has written another episode, and I wonder if like there's been any other like wavering, like instances of like wavering faith in Batman.
You got me thinking. So I was looking up Chief O'Hara. His name's Chief Miles O'Hara. Because I
That
was kind of curious. So if he was ever like in the comics some, but there's a Chief O'Hara in Mickey Mouse comics. Um, and then there's in the Batman comics, there's Chief Clancy O'Hara. Apparently, he's the first victim of the Hangman Killer in Batman Dark Victory, but I'm pretty sure that was maybe like a small reference to this Chief O'Hara.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Me neither. The
Oh,
Minstrel's got a new. Oh, go ahead.
there's a female Chief O'Hara in the Lego Batman movie.
Ah, fun.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. Anyway, sorry.
The Minstrel. He's got a new plan. Oh yeah, which he says is like Plan High C or something.
Yeah, I think they referenced it in the first episode. Like, oh, they're like, oh no, not High C.
So yeah,
These goons.
he's gonna like. It's apparently a plan that will like end the world if he doesn't get what he wants. Which I think just like he plans on collapse. We find out he plans on collapsing like the stock exchange, which would have bad consequences on the world. But I'd like to think if one building falls down,
Yeah,
the
it'll hit other things. Like, I don't know how good he is. He can just make it implode.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like on an economic scale, if this
Yeah.
one building falls down, will like society collapse?
Oh no, like I they say it's the stock exchange building. We only ever see, like I don't know if that means the stock exchange is in there, but like I, I don't know how the actual mechanics of like the stock exchange actually work, especially in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. But like the stocks don't really like stock stuff doesn't affect like average Joes like you and I, you know? Like I think most
Well,
people would go about their day-to-day life.
I mean, if the economy imploded, it definitely would affect people like you and I.
Well, yeah, but like but like people can't trade stocks. I don't know if this would destroy the economy. Because like the money you own, like you own in stocks are theoretical until you sell them. And like stocks are physical pieces of, at least back in the day, were physical pieces of paper you had. So just because you can't trade them in one place doesn't mean you don't still have ownership of them.
Yeah, and then like we know that New York City exists in this universe. Like,
Yeah.
what is there a stock exchange there?
I mean, that's the where the stock exchange is in the real life. Like,
Yeah, but just like, are there two? Like, what's up?
yeah, I, I don't know. Because Gotham City's both its own city, it's everywhere and nowhere at once.
Yeah,
So, like, it's
but
got
yeah,
mountains, it's got like the ocean, it'll probably have a gorge that Batman needs to jump at some point.
I did think this was interesting though, because like this is kind of the first time, with the exception of the movie that we haven't watched yet.
But we haven't done an episode on at least.
Yes. That like they're like, oh, the world is at stake.
Yeah, when they were like, "Oh my God, the world's at stake," I was like, "What is Plan High C then? Is it like High C, like the music note, or High C, like a pirate thing, and we're doing that again? He's gonna flood the world, like at like SEA High C."
I think it's the music note.
No, it definitely is. But when I first watched him, like, yeah, how's whatever this guy's gonna do, like destroy the world. But
Yeah.
maybe
So,
maybe the world has stone stock in something, and then if they destroy all of that, then all economies everywhere go out of business.
yeah.
That seems like a design flaw to put everyone in the world's eggs in one basket like that.
Well, here, such is life. Maybe that's the commentary they were trying to make. Um, but yeah. So the minstrel somehow is like causing the stock exchange to like shake.
Yeah, they get all like the board of the stock guys there. I think they just call them the board. And Batman and Robin and Gordon and O'Hara are there. And then like the building starts to shake like an earthquake, but Batman looks outside and realizes like, oh, nothing else is shaking, so it's just this building. He immediately like knows what happened where he's using like the ventilation system as like I forget the techno babble for it. But like it was something with like sound waves like where you could like cause the building to shake and maybe shake it to death.
Yes. So Batman like is like, okay, if we turn all the power off in the building, there's no way he can like, broadcast his signal. So they go through this whole thing. They like rig up all the power to like this one big old Frankenstein switch
Yeah.
and they turn it off. But he still like is able to like broadcast his demands.
Hmm.
And this leads Batman to suspect that the broadcasts are pre-recorded. Now, I didn't really pay attention to the broadcasts, so I don't know if they're like referencing things.
As far as I could tell, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I suspected they might be pre-recorded because like Batman just crashed their studio and he had to escape.
Well,
And
no,
like,
he didn't crash the studio. He crashed their lair, which was separate from the
oh
broad.
yeah, that is right. Because the studio was bugged. That's right, because I thought the bug was going to be like lead Batman to there, not just to listen to them. Like it was more of like a tracking device.
Yeah, I also was expecting that, but yeah.
So I figured I thought they might have abandoned that place then, but it was obviously still the same set that he was recording from. Oh no,
So,
you know what made me suspect that? It's almost immediately when Minstrel escapes after the fight, there's a recording of him like in that studio, like being like, "Oh, Batman and Robin," he's like taunting them or whatever. Like, oh, like maybe he had a thing like if they did escape, which is good planning on
um,
his part.
let's see. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. He is prepared for anything.
But I don't think that was the intent of that. I think that's just a reading of it.
So then Batman's like, oh, the minstrel must be here among us. And then just like goes up to this guy and it's just like, it's you. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, but like we see like it's clearly the minstrel's actor like in a suit walk in. Like the audience knows he's there.
yeah. Because yeah. Shutting off the power doesn't work. He's still able to like broadcast his stuff. The minstrel's there all along.
Yeah. And then he summons his goons, which is just
Yeah.
like 40 guys now. Like it's like the serving staff and stuff that were there.
Yeah, he's like bass, treble, and all the rest.
Yeah, well, Batman's kind of like got him by the lapel, and like Batman doesn't just clobber him real quick
Yeah, I mean,
because Minstrel doesn't fight. He said that earlier. It's beneath him,
yeah. And maybe it's beneath Batman to hit somebody who won't hit back.
I guess. But yeah, then there's another,
That's,
the classic Batman brawl.
yeah. So we get another fight this episode.
Chief O'Hara gets punched right in the beginning and is just like knocked out on the floor the rest of the fight. You can
Yeah.
see him in the background.
Yeah. And then maybe you can explain what happens next.
Yeah, I'll try.
Something about a bat particle accelerator.
Yeah, I forget what they said with that like sparkler box that he had in the first episode, what caused him to like be stunned, but they're like, yeah, we put a bat particle accelerator, whatever, in our costume, so that won't work again. And then they just handcuff him and he's gone to jail. And I felt like this was halfway through the episode. I'm like, something else is going to happen, right?
Nope. Yeah, they just punch out all of his goons. And yeah, what the hell was that sparkler? I totally
I
forget.
totally forget too. Let me go back to my notes.
But like a particle accelerator? That seems
Uh,
insane.
I don't know. It doesn't say. Well, it's just I remember it being like dumb the first time around, so I guess it was just going to have equally as dumb a solution.
So yeah, they succeed in capturing the minstrel. Batman was one step ahead the whole time.
Finally,
We fast forward into the future, and Bruce and Dick and Aunt Harriet are in the living room, the
yeah.
2D room.
Bruce and Dick are doing like 4D chess, like
Yeah.
one of those chess boards with like four layers.
And a news broadcast comes up that says like the minstrel is being transferred to Gotham Penitentiary.
We got an exclusive interview, and they just let him on TV with like a lute, and he does like sound abilities.
Yeah, so here's all right, this whole scene. So first off, Aunt Harriet is just like pretty upset.
Yeah,
She's
he's
like,
so
there is
charming.
no way that this
Yeah,
guy is a criminal. Like he's too handsome and too good at singing,
yeah,
which is just like, dang.
that's really shallow.
If we use that logic, we're in deep trouble, Aunt Harriet. Um, so yeah, and then on the broadcast, they're like, "Oh, you got anything to say, minstrel?" And he does the typical like villain, like, I'll get you, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, so he does it like in a sing-song thing, because that's what he's been doing when he does his broadcasts and stuff. We mentioned like the first thing he says is wait for the jailbreak, and I'm like, yeah, what they think it just was like I don't know. I think society has the reckoning of like, yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get out of jail and like it's no big deal. And I'm gonna just murder all of you.
But then like I love like the camera pulls away
Yeah.
from the minstrel back to the newscaster who's like really upset and disturbed by what the minstrel just said.
He's
And
like,
it's
oh
just like,
God. It reminds me a little bit of that Bill O'Reilly video
but it's just
where,
like,
where
what
he's
did
like,
you think was gonna happen?
yeah. Yeah, it's just I don't know what they thought they were gonna get out of it. It also wasn't an interview. They asked him one question and like he was an insane person and like threatened to murder Batman and Robin in a song.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's essentially a terrorist. Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, because like here, it's like, do you think that he could be reformed? You're friends with Commissioner Gordon. Do you think you could tell him? And Bruce is like, I guess,
Yeah.
and that's just how it ends.
But only women get reformed on this show.
Yeah, except for Catwoman. What it like? I'm watching this episode. I'm just like nothing's happened, and it just kind of stops. Like I was like, oh, I mean, I guess it's one thing to say like it went by real fast, so it must have not been like terrible, like excruciating. But it's just like I don't know. I wanted to give the first half the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't great, but I was like, maybe it'll be interesting by the end, and it just was like less interesting by the end. Because he's also still extorting them for the exact same amount of money, even though he's like, I can destroy any building I want anytime I want and just kill it. Like, you know what I mean? Like he could have asked for a lot more things.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think this is Van Johnson's fault. I just think this character and story is really, really underbaked. Like the core concept, I think, is not super interesting. It's the same thing kind of with Archer. Except Archer, they made a lot more like strange acting performance decisions, which I don't think paid off, but at least he was a little more like interesting to watch than this.
Yeah. I don't know. I hate the Archer too.
Yeah, I'm not trying. I also didn't like the Archer, but he's the most easy comparison to have, you know?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think listeners
Overall, I
can
did.
tell
Yeah.
we're not happy with
Yeah.
this.
Overall, I did not really enjoy this. It's not the worst episode we saw because I wasn't like actively bored, but I was pretty disengaged. Um, but so here's the thing though. So like I was thinking about like what kind of rating I would give him. And I want to be a one because he's like so like lame, but like he was baffling Batman, at least the first half, like a lot. And like, oh, that's normally like a three. And I was just like, but I don't want to give him I really like my heart, he doesn't get more than a one. So I was like, I don't know what to do. But I think I don't know. He does trip up himself at the end and like his scheme, like he accidentally leaves a clue for Batman that was unintentional to like so Batman was able to like get one over on him. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
I mean, he he threatens the entire world alone. So I
Yeah.
think maybe he gets a three, right? And
I
he's
don't
like,
I think part of the trouble why I'm hesitant for the three then is like I don't really understand how he can do that and like how is that scalable like long term? Like I don't know if he can just turn it all like he has to destroy the city one building at a time or if he can just level it all at once. Because if it's one building at a time, like yeah, that could suck, but like you would get caught eventually. And like that doesn't really threaten the world, it threatens that one city. And maybe even just a neighborhood of that city, depending on how good of crime fighters you have.
yeah, but I mean, the stock exchange does affect the entire world.
Apparently.
I mean, it does. Like in the real world, if like, I mean, like that's like if a
Well,
terrorist,
in which case he doesn't need to do this crazy building destroying thing because he was just able to manipulate all the stocks the first half, like
yeah,
willy-nilly.
it
Like
is silly.
that's way more easy and devastating to do, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. And like, it's very contrived. But like, even if we take that part out, like he's still this like electronics genius who's like kind of like toe to toe intellectually with Batman.
I do like that it was more of like a battle of wits between the two than
Yeah,
just
like
like
no one has kind of pushed him that far. And
yeah.
it's
I
just
feel
a
like
shame that the
yeah
person who did,
was this guy not like the Riddler.
yes,
Yeah, because I feel like that's more the character like the Riddler's kind of thing.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. If you want to give him a three, we can give him a three.
I think he's got to be if we're playing fair, even though we
Yeah,
hate this episode and I hate him.
yeah, that's fine. We can put him down as one.
Does he ever come back?
No, I
Thank
was
God.
looking him up. He only has like background cameos and some animated stuff for the 60 show.
Cool.
But like, yeah, he never shows back up. He never speaks again. They never put him in comics. I don't know if he's even in the background of the 66 comics. He must, because I'm pretty sure the last issue of that has a cameo from every Batman villain, like from the series
Interesting.
and the comic series.
Maybe we take a dive into those comics
I
soon.
will be honest with you, watching the shows made me want to reread them because I remember really liking them, but like now I hadn't really watched the show like this then. So I probably would pick up on a lot more stuff.
Yeah,
No,
same.
yeah, because I know the bookworm like doesn't show back up in the show, but he's in the comics, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so some of these villains like I get to kind of see again that like, but now I've like I really appreciate them on a new level.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of like the show exclusive villains.
Yeah,
And like basically for me, it's like anyone who didn't show up in the movie.
yeah,
I think it's like those comics were where I kind of like got to know them first before.
yeah. Because like I think we've mentioned on the pod a couple of times. Like I watched this as a kid, but like I didn't watch it like religiously, and like I know I didn't see every episode, or like
Yeah.
I would watch this, probably be bored, and then go do something else. Like if I watched this Minstrel episode as like a 5 year old.
Oh yeah, God. I would be
Yeah.
very bored.
Yeah, but it's like oh, it could have been the Joker or something.
Yeah, because like yeah, when you're a kid, you're like, please be the
Yeah,
Joker.
yeah. Please be Joker or a Penguin or someone more fun.
Yeah, and now like I'm excited to see like new villains, but like
Yeah, I know
God,
season two's got a lot of them.
so far we're like two for two duds for new villains
Yeah,
this
but like Catwoman was way better this season than she was the first season.
that's true.
So, you know, I know next week or next episode's like a returning new villain. It's with the return of King Tut, which I'm pretty excited about because
Yeah, me
I
too.
liked him first season.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
see what he gets into this time,
I'm sure it'll be Egyptian themed.
hopefully. Um, yeah, anything else to say about barbecued Batman?
I'm glad it's over. uh, just in real life, this one took a while to get us to record because like we both were dealing with various levels of COVID, and it's just like, just trying to get them in the can. And then
Yeah,
it's like it's what this episode wasn't even like all that exciting to talk about.
definitely not. Yeah. I wasn't like looking forward to it even a little.
Yeah. Whereas if it was like the Catwoman one, I would be excited to talk about because I really liked that one. I think that might be my favorite episode so far.
Oh,
I
interesting.
really liked it, and which is funny because Catwoman generally is like not a Batman villain I'm like that into.
Yeah, same.
Like just generally like comics and other like not just like this show or whatever, but um I like her fine in the '60s show.
Yeah, I just think she works better as like a
Yeah. More of a love interest or like an anti-hero, I guess.
yeah, and like
I do really appreciate her just being a villain in this series, though.
oh yeah. I mean, that's there's no like gray area.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like Catwoman best in like Batman the Animated Series.
I mean, there are definitely Catwoman stories I like. I liked Gotham City Sirens, which she was like a third of the leads on, like the comic series. Like there's stuff I like, different interpretations of Catwoman in. I like her in the Harley Quinn show. Um, I like her in like Long Halloween, but I like her more as like a supporting character, I think, than like a main character.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about her just like in the comics, like just because like she's like changed sides so many times, like
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
it's just like ridiculous because like she always has to go back to this like status quo of like
That's why I don't generally like Marvel and DC comics like month to month, where it's because everyone, no matter what happens, everyone has to revert back to their like most marketable interpretation, and like that really frustrates me as like a monthly comic reader. Now, not saying though that I don't enjoy Marvel or DC comics, like full stop. Like there are definitely stories I like from them. They still publish things I do like, but I don't find the monthly exploits of like their main characters like compelling. And that's just a personal thing.
yeah, no, I get it, dude.
Yeah, like from DC right now, I'm excited for Batman 89 Echoes to keep going, you know.
Let's see, what am I excited about?
I guess anything but Minstrel because we've been talking about Catwoman for almost as long as we've talked about this episode.
Yeah. I can't tell you what I'm excited about. I don't really read monthly comics like that.
Yeah, I have mostly transitioned to reading graphic novels like as they come out, which I just picked up Nimona yesterday, so I'm excited to read that. I really like the movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's good.
Let's see, what am I excited about? I could not tell you.
I am excited for King Tut next episode though.
Oh yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
think that'll be fun.
Yeah. At the very least, I think there's going to be some stuff in it that like will be interesting to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, just flipping ahead, I do think we have some like some episodes I do remember and I remember liking are coming up in relatively short order. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm still excited for the show. It's just I think this season so far has had. I mean, granted, we've only watched 6 episodes versus how many episodes are in the first season. But I think
But
it's
like the first season starts out so strong.
yeah, like the ratio of hits to duds are like way harder and
Like, yeah,
way more skewed in this one. There's 34 episodes in the first season. I think there was only like two, maybe four that I would be like, yeah, we're pretty bad.
well, let's see. And how many episodes did it take for us to like hit a dud?
I'm gonna flip through the episodes. Let's see. First we had High Diddle Riddle, then Fine Feathered Finks, Joker's Wild, Instant Freeze, Zelda the Great was actually good. Another Riddler. I guess Mad Hatter, would you call that a dud? That was
Yeah,
episode,
that was
that
the
was
first
episode
one where I was like, this one is not of the same quality.
they were 13 and 14, so not too terribly deep into the season because there's like 34, 32, 34 episodes.
But yeah, that's like far enough in.
But we've had 2/3 of them so far have been kind of like meh.
Yeah, so we'll see what King Tut can do.
Yeah, the Spell of Tut is next.
All right. Well, unless we have anything else, we'll
Uh,
catch you.
oh yeah,
Do
you
you
got
have anything else?
no,
Sorry.
I don't have anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I hope everyone just goes and enjoys their day. Thanks for listening to Barbecued Batman with us. And yeah, we'll catch you here for the Spell of Tut. Same Batcast time, same Batcast channel.